what are the alternative CO2 sources that we can be looking at? And one of them that I've been very involved with over the last 5 years is a biogenic source of CO2, CO2 captured from biogas, which was mentioned earlier. Biogas is produced from anaerobic digestion process where you digest biomass and it produces biogas. Very, very similar process to what goes on in the bioethanol industry. And it's a fermentation process, and also very similar to how in the alcohol distillation process, how we get whiskeys and vodka and things like that. So feedstocks can include anything from energy crops all the way down to animal manures, chicken litter, pig slurry, all the way down to more variable waste, food waste, and other biomass waste streams. And what are the big challenges for recovering CO2 from biogas and using it in our industry? The first one would be economies of scale. Usually these plants are about 1/10 of the size of a typical CO2 plant, but probably the biggest one that we're facing right now is perception and market perception. So our biggest off-takers are the carbonated soft drink industry. And those players are very cautious with new sources of CO2, and they want to watch and see before they start using CO2 from sources that aren't proven. And this source, although it's been around for 4 to 5 years, is still seen as new into the industry and unproven from their standpoint. So that's one of the first things. The second thing is people don't realize that one biogas source is not the same as the other. There's a lot of different ones with energy crop biogas sources or sources with very, very controlled waste streams being close to like a bioethanol process, all the way down to highly variable waste streams that are being digested in an anaerobic digestion system that have a lot of variability. And the fear there is that with variable feedstocks, you might have some contaminants get into the CO2 that you're not looking for, that you're not testing for, that could create some quality issues. So, as we get more experience with this type of source, and as we really start to look at it hard and recognize that not all biogas sources are the same, and when we start really focusing on building plants that are fit for purpose to process the raw CO2 coming off of these types of biogas sources, I think we'll become more and more comfortable with the fact that this CO2 can be used in the industry and is absolutely fit for purpose for our industry. And it's happening, as Rob mentioned, it's happening already certainly in the UK and in other countries. If we just kind of look at where this is happening, in the UK, we've probably got 8 to 10 CO2 recovery plants on biogas, producing about 40 or 50,000 tons per year. We've got about the same amount in the Netherlands. There's in Germany, France, and Italy, there's probably a handful of plants in each one of those countries where we're recovering CO2. We have one project in the Philippines that's just being built right now. And in Denmark, there's a very important one where Strandmolen, a regional CO2 industrial gases company, has partnered together with Nature Energy, and they've installed a CO2 plant that has a capacity to produce 20,000 tons a year, and it's strictly focused on manures, so strictly a manure waste stream. So we're watching that closely to see how that goes and see how that data looks and see how the market acceptation is there. But we have a very positive view. In the end, a CO2 molecule is a CO2 molecule. So if we build our plants fit for purpose with the right quality systems in place, and we do the right testing and we understand our feedstocks, there's no reason why these biogenic biogas sources can't play a really important role in the future in increasing our CO2 production capacity all the way across the globe.